But all right. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Artificery podcast. I'm your stand-in host, Nick, aka the Gandork, and with me we've got Garrett, aka Zero Hour, and
Hello.
the other Nick, aka Taxter,
Who doesn't have much of a voice this time.
who doesn't have much of a voice, but he's powering through because we have a lot to talk about today.
I got a Nick sandwich today.
We are missing Sean and Wyatt this week. Sean is in Iceland because good for him, I guess. Hope he's enjoying it. And I don't remember what Wyatt was up to, but he was busy doing things. But hopefully they'll be back in following weeks. But for now, you're stuck with us. So hopefully we can, have some good insight. Though I just realized, though, we lost the two guys that were like the most
Don't
down
know
on
anything.
the game. They're like, we're both gonna play like the bitter person that like, or the cynical take on the game, and then they're like, they're both trying to one up each other to take it to like, how about we just don't show up to the second podcast? That's how cynical we are.
Nailed
We're
it.
just not gonna be there. So that's kind of funny. All right, so let's just start with like, what have you guys been up to in Star Wars Unlimited this week or since the last time we talked? Let's just kind of give an update, like have you tried any new decks, if you played any games, have you ran some demos for people? I'll go ahead and start with Garrett first.
Yeah, I brought last week. Last week we recorded on Wednesday, and my local store plays Shatterpoint on Thursday, so I went Thursday to play, and then I brought my demo decks. The gen, I don't know if they were the gen, whatever the 50 card decks are, the real.
Oh, the real
starters. Yeah. I brought those, and there was several people that came up like, "What's that?" So they got to learn a new game. I gave my store a copy of them because I had an extra copy.
That's a good idea.
So,
what did you print them on that you were okay giving it away? Like, did you print it on cardstock instead of like? Okay.
No, I printed them on just regular paper, and then I just put them in front of old Destiny cards.
Oh, that you don't care giving away or anything.
I have a bajillion cards from Destiny that are just commons from all the drafting we did at Worlds. So that's what I use.
Yeah, no, that's good. Like I had that same idea like today as we'll get into it later when I was messaging my store. It's like, oh, I should print out like a separate demo deck or a separate set of starter decks to like leave at the store. And then maybe I could convince the people at the store to like, hey, if people are interested, show them this game when they come in and try to sell them on pre-orders. So that's a good idea. I hadn't thought of. Well, I kind of thought of, but you actually implemented it. Good job. Yeah, did you win whatever tournament you were there for, or like how'd that go?
Oh, for Shatterpoint, no. Just Thursday nights is just like the Shatterpoint play night. So I just went and brought those to play after.
Yeah, awesome. How about you, Tack? What did you do?
Well, I went to play on Late Night Gaming on last Saturday, and that was fun. Pretty much, mostly just played Oops All Removal Vader that Nick has also talked about in some of the community Discord, and we talked about what would be a fun deck to bring to Late Night Gaming. He's like, you should play this Vader that has a bunch of removal. I'm like, I like control decks. This sounds fun. It was pretty fun. Like it didn't beat everything. It certainly feels like it has weird holes, especially when they have like tons of like dudes out on the field. You're not trading with units because most of your stuff is events and units that deal damage. So like it's hard to like get ahead against too many threats. And it can be hard to keep up with like the really early aggro from like a Leia type of deck, which did me in good.
Yeah, I feel like
and Ezra just drew like 4 turns in a row, and it's like I can't deal with Ezra, and like there's other threats, and Ezra just keeps increasing card advantage. It was the perfect example of like how good Ezra can be if you leave that man alone. He just does disgusting things.
Yeah, I've had some people be like, "Oh, he seems so random," but it's like it's randomly game breaking, which is fine. Like his floor is just average sized unit, but like his ceiling is sky high.
His floor is fine stats and R2 ability.
Right. And then sometimes you just do really cheaty things off the top of your deck.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like that's the one thing like I noticed I thought with the weakness of the Vader deck, like it seems those decks that like play 2 units a turn, like it's very like 1-to-1 removal. And I feel like it's missing some kind of board wipe. We need a spoiler of like give me
Kill
something
everything.
Yeah, give me like hit 2 units even, or like all like I need to
Yeah,
be able
any
to.
kind of multi-target would. I mean that isn't overwhelming barrage.
Yeah,
Because
something
that's
that
the
can get
only thing
rid
we
of.
have.
Yeah, overwhelming yeah, and that's not in that version of Vader. But maybe it should
No,
be
because
Renegade out of Aspect. Like I don't know.
I mean,
Safety
yeah.
valve.
Vader can hit 2 units though, like, but if you're only doing 2 damage to it, it's got to be a weak
And
one.
like part of it is maybe I could have played it better too, in a sense of like, when Vader comes out, like really, really making sure he doesn't die. Like half the times it's like, yeah, he did stuff, but then eventually he might die. But if
Yeah,
if you keep jacking him up and making him swole, and then he never dies, then he can also be your big overwhelming brush target.
yeah, I put the list up. This was my version. I think you had made yours slightly different because I caught a
I
couple games.
forgot to save, or I saved it wrong or something that right before I imported it, and there was a few cards that I did differently, and I don't even remember what they. I know I didn't have the 1-cost stormtroopers, which would have been nice in some instances.
Yeah, I think the 1-cost stormtroopers are needed for those matchups, like you said, where you got Leia. You're like, I just need something cheap, and it
Exactly,
also
just get out of
cheaply
there.
turns off. Yeah, cheaply turns on Vader's ability as well, which is always kind of a nice upside some turns. To make sure you get it out, and then like as far as you're talking like making Vader live, like you gotta have. I have the 3 repairs in there, which is a card I think some people are kind of cold on because it's kind of boring, but like the end condition or the end win condition for this deck is Vader and or Emperor, but like keeping Vader alive. So like being able to repair Vader is sometimes very important, like to get that extra 3 health,
Yeah,
make sure he doesn't die.
I mean the most fun matchup probably was the all control Vader versus a lot of control, but McBobber was playing him as a Voltron Vader, so just trying to build the big Vader with all the upgrades and that, going kind of all in big on that. And at just the end, like I used Vigilance to heal 10 for my base because I fell behind early. I think I healed with at least 1 repair on base, and then I ended up winning because I milled 6 with the 3rd Vigilance, and because we just got to that point where
Actually
nobody
got
had
to the
anything
mill
big
win,
left.
like
Yes,
that's
yes.
awesome.
Did you find Vigilance was worth playing even out of
It's
Aspect?
weird. It's so expensive and does not feel worth it until it is. Like, like the healing vibe, like in those late game situations, it's still fine and worth it, but it feels like a very bad card early, and you don't even want to play it at 6. I feel like you want to play it later. Because like the shield, I mean, when you only have a bunch of little stuff, or like, yeah, maybe the shield's gonna Invader, but like it's probably going to be try to kill something and heal your base. That's probably the most common thing because you just need to not die.
Because I've been looking at putting that and stuff out of Aspect, and like it just feels like at 4 it's great. I think it's great at 4, but at 6 I'm like it's good, but I don't.
Yeah,
It's weird. It feels weird.
Yeah, I think it's like what he said. Like, there's only 2. Like the shield, you'll kind of use depending on the game state, but it only has like 2 dependable, useful options, which is heal your base and hopefully kill a thing.
And you
So
can't
that's like the down.
you can't
go
do,
for the mill win.
You can't do one of the things on there twice, right?
Right? Yeah, you have to
No.
pick
Okay,
2
yeah, that's
different
what I thought.
things. But yeah, like I don't know, like it might be a thing where like you take out the vigilance and put in the overwhelming firepower. If you're gonna overpay for something, pay 7 and hopefully nuke a bunch of stuff. Like I don't know, but it is interesting.
I mean, there's going to be control options. I have to assume that involve a lot of events like this once we have everything, and I'm sure we got some good stuff to come still.
I mean, I feel like it's probably better playing out of Aspect in command since you can kind of ramp to it and have it as an option. With the
You mean
super
like play
laser.
a command base, and then like ramp stuff, and then play like blue out aspect things?
Right. or just just have
that does make sense.
You're not doing 2 blue, you're doing blue green, so you can ramp with super laser or whatever, or even
I do have a feeling I'm gonna really like blue green. Like blue green does seem like it's gonna be something I like. Like I don't like the theme of like all the bounty hunters so much in yellow and stuff, but I feel like I like some of the yellow cards. I like Waylay. Like I know it's kind of an aggro card, but like it can still be very useful for mid range to just get big threats off the board and get stuff through where you need to.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be that big on red because it's probably going to tend to be more aggressive overall.
Yeah, yeah. Red, I don't know. Red's aggressive, but like they keep showing red controlish things or late mid range things, which we'll talk about one of the spoilers.
Yeah, like what is exactly
not aggro. But I guess that's a good segue into let's. We woke up to, I think it was you, Tack, that put in like, did Spiel Santa deliver this morning or something? I remember that message. And yeah, he did, because we had a bunch of stuff like came out this morning from Spiel / IGN, like posted an article today, which I think is the most mainstream article we've had.
We've gotten,
Yeah, they were on a couple other things, but I feel like IGN's like, the IGN's like mainstream. Like people go to IGN that aren't just looking at board games and card games.
Yeah,
like
It's the biggest. It's the biggest site I've seen that's done something for it so far.
Yeah. But yeah, like what did we get today? Let's talk about the big things before we get into the cards, and then we can talk about the cards. But we found out a release date. Garrett, do you want to tell us when this game will release?
It is March 8th, 2024.
2024. There was one of those articles that did typo up March 8th, 2023, by the way, which I thought was hilarious. Like, what? It already came out 6 months ago?
That's exciting. I'm glad it's beginning of March too and not end.
We're gonna only 5 months away.
And pre-release should be the week before that, so we get to even play a week before. Almost February.
Release. I was hoping for an earlier release than March. Like it felt like the rate that we've gotten spoilers, like it feels like that's just a long time away. Like
look at what they said. The math was like we need a spoiler every day basically now to get us there. So
I think we will. I mean, isn't there another big con between now and then too?
PAX Unplugged is in December. I assume they're going to be there.
We'll probably get a bunch at PAX. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, I would guess. There's like some other little stuff at the beginning of the year, like Helvio, which is more minis, but sometimes card games have a presence there. It's where we ran our event.
Right, yeah.
Destiny. But I don't know if that's something that they will hit. But I don't know. Like people are like, yeah, they have to release a card every day. But I'm like, generally, like games don't spoil like everything.
Yeah, and I don't expect everything necessarily, and that's fine. We'll find it up by the date anyways, probably.
I was gonna say, it's usually about like a week or two before maybe you'll get like the whole set spoiled. But like I don't think they want to hit a point where like 80% of the set is spoiled by like the 1st of January, because people will burn themselves out on online play with most of the set, and like you're putting a lot of weight into like the last 20% of the set actually mattering at that point. So I don't know.
Yeah,
does that mean that the last 20% is going to be the coolest stuff?
Maybe. I mean, do you think I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something. Do you think like we're going to end up getting a drought of spoilers at some point?
I mean, we have Command Month or Aggression Month, then Cunning Month, presumably. Like maybe the holidays is a drought. I don't know. Like, I mean, they gotta take a break.
When is Chinese New Year? Because we definitely won't get anything then.
That's like all of February.
Yeah,
that's a deep Destiny cut.
Which makes me feel like if this is coming out in March and they're printing in China, Chinese New Year's is then. They're going to have this already in the U.S. ready to go probably by like January. Just sitting it, right?
I would think.
So we got to raid Rosemont or wherever they hide all the boxes.
Right. I wonder if we'll end up like one of the things from the article that some people glossed over today is that they mentioned that it would be available in retail and hobby stores on March 8th. So people are driving the speculation like they're pretty much confirming like it's going to be in Target, going to be in Walmart, it's going to be in some big box store.
Which means they've already had like deals for that, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, Target gets legit board games too, so it would surprise me if it wasn't Target.
Is decent now.
Like stores like that just sell by the individual booster pack usually, right? And they won't ever drop below like MSRP, or will they?
Unless they claim.
I've never.
Yeah, the one thing that was probably like, I don't know, just comparing it to Lorcana because it just happened. Like Lorcana sold like booster packs and booster boxes like level in like Targets and Walmarts, which was interesting.
Okay.
Because like oftentimes you'd see just like blister packs and stuff for games at that level, like where they'd have it's just one booster pack and like an oversized.
Yeah.
Oh, that is that's
how I used to buy Magic cards when I was a kid, and Pokemon.
But yeah, and again referencing Lorcana, one thing that's interesting, like if they do have the game, you know, onshore in the U.S. by like end of January, some of those big box stores broke street dates with Lorcana by like a week or two
because they don't care.
So, because like they
they don't have to ship it to the big stores until closer to March, but they also probably don't want to be sitting on the shipment. Like storage for that can probably be expensive unless Asmodee has big warehouses in the U.S. They might. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it would happen like a lot before, but like it wouldn't surprise me if like 2 weeks before you start getting stories like I walked into Target and 2-player starters and booster packs were on the shelves, kind of thing. Because
I mean that wouldn't be great for the local stores.
Yeah,
I mean they break street dates on video games all the time because they don't care. What are you gonna find? You're gonna find Target $10,000. What do you do? Like they don't care.
Some of the local game stores don't do like you don't see a local game store usually break street date, but it seems like anything that goes to these big box stores, it slips through the cracks somewhere and someone gets it.
But they're probably not going to have the same level of product anyway. So like the amounts, like I don't think people are buying like whole cases through them, are they? Is that like normal?
Not usually. Like usually like there's a separate like package level for retail that's not like the same as just sending cases of booster boxes like they do the local game stores. But yeah, hopefully there's no shortages either. Like that's the other thing. Like, will they learn from Lorcana? And like Lorcana like didn't even hit like local game stores and retailers at the same time. They went to local game stores first. Well, they went to Gen Con first, then local game stores, then retail. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Is it a negative to simultaneously release in retail and local game stores? Do you think that makes local game stores mad at all?
If I was a local game store, I'd be mad about it. But like most of your people that are going to be playing the game are going to be getting it from your local game store, probably. Even if they don't get it first there, they will probably end up getting it there if they're playing the game. Because like you're not gonna go to your game store, play a game, and then go to Target to buy a booster pack. Like,
I mean, some people might, but I don't think that's common or the normal.
But yeah, like you're not gonna have a day of playing and then decide I'm not gonna buy it here. I'm gonna drive to Target to buy it. Like you're just not gonna do it. If
unless they're out of it,
yeah. If your store has it, like you're gonna get it there.
Or your local game store is overcharging for packs because there's a shortage.
If you're $20 a booster, yeah, but
say no. Other thing that was kind of buried in the articles today is that we know when stores or your local game stores, at least, are going to be able to pre-order the set. Which, Taxter, do you want to share when the pre-order date is?
That's August or October 16th, which is not that far away.
11
like
days.
A week, a little bit more than a week away. That's exciting because it means that you can go to your store and say, "Hey, I want this," and then they can be like, "Cool." Then we will order that. And I think the pre-orders is going to be a great way to make sure that your store is actually interested in it, because if they know that enough people want it, then they will keep it in stock, and hopefully that's the best thing. So, I mean, it does make me want to, like, I don't know if I should be like pre-ordering at multiple different stores for like a box each, or like I don't know the right way to do that there when you have multiple stores. We do have a lot of game stores in Madison. I just don't. Not all of them will end up being like a weekly play for this, and I don't think we'll have a huge group overall. But
there are 2 by me, and they are about 3 blocks apart. So I don't know.
that's crazy. That's crazy close.
Yeah. I don't know if the other one. They're both awesome, but their other one mostly does Magic because that's how you make money. So I don't know if they're gonna do this, but I hope they will because I would love
Have like
to do both.
4 stores within a 15-minute drive. So I mean that's quite a bit. One of them's like all card games. One of them's big online board games and stuff. One's family board games. Another one's family board games.
Yeah, I've got a lot of game stores too. I think I don't know. Sean had a future idea for an episode of maybe like talking about like what to do at your local game store level to like help organize events or run games. But I will say, like, yeah, as soon as I got that information today, I sent a message to the game store that I frequent and like let them know, hey, I'm going to pre-order a case, and what night can we run organized play? Like, started that kind of talk. Like,
Yeah.
it's October 16th is going to be the date. I made a Facebook group for Southwest Idaho where I'm at and sent that over and said, hey, if you can share this on your store Facebook page or other social media, this will help us gauge interest in the local area because we'll actually be able to see like how many people might be interested in it.
And we still have a Destiny one from ours that might still be alive, or I don't know. I have not been on Facebook at all for like any of this stuff, but that was a big thing. Was the Facebook Destiny is kind of where my local community started with its
Same here.
stuff.
I haven't had a Facebook.
I don't really
for
like
years,
Facebook or groups,
so.
but I mean, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, it's still the easiest way for gaming groups to find each other because like Discord search is garbage.
Yeah.
No, for finding some server you're not in. I mean, unless you're like everyone knows to go to the community server first, and then.
But even finding the community server, like we have a community server with like whatever, it's 1,300 people roughly now. I think it's up to. If you go to like Discord search and be like, put in Star Wars Unlimited, you won't even see our Star Wars Unlimited like Discord group in like the first page of results. Like, I don't know how Discord does their search, but it's awful.
That's weird.
Yeah. Like most of the people in our Discord probably got there from the Facebook, or they were in one of the other like Star Wars related Discords that knew like a Destiny person or someone to like link them in there. Like, it's my biggest critique of Discord is that they just make it too hard for groups to find each other.
I can tell you I've never once done a search for a Discord server. It's always been stuff that people have given me or I've found.
The same.
I've
never either.
Like a link.
But yeah. Anyway, that's that. So exciting stuff that we actually have like a target, a goal. There's an end line at some point in the future. But we also got 4 spoilers from the IGN article today. And we also had 1 spoiler from Monday for the last of the Command spoilers. So I have some stuff to go through. Let's talk about the first of the Command spoilers first, or we're going to talk about the last Command spoiler first. I'm confusing myself, which was Tactical Advantage, this event that they showed on Monday. It's a 1-cost event, very simple, single green aspects. Give a unit +2/+2 for this phase. Thoughts, Garrett? What do you think of this amazing card?
Amazing's a word. I think it's fine. Like, I think in draft it's going to be fine. And I think it's something you're probably not going to put in a constructed deck. Maybe in set 1, depending on the other options. But like after that, there's going to be other options that are better at that. But if you're running it, then it's something you do after your opponent has taken initiative. Probably, unless you're running it for Sentinel defense. Otherwise, you're just using it after they take it, spending your 1 to do an extra 2 damage. I mean, I don't see a ton of use for this, but I don't think it's completely useless.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if it's inconstructed at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe somebody wants something with a bunch of cheapos and something to punch harder.
yeah.
I
I was
mean,
gonna say the
one
only
resource to get 2 damage to base isn't bad for an aggro deck.
Yeah.
no, that's I think that's pretty like if you're paying 2 for 3 damage with surprise strike, 1 for 2 is that more that's more efficient
It is more.
resources damage. So yeah, I was like math late at night too hard. So yeah, that way it's more efficient at least from resources spent. But like then you have the hard part of like card value. Like one card that gives you 3 is more valuable than one card that gives you only 2. But I don't know. That's getting way in the weeds. I do think like if this, I agree with you guys. It probably doesn't get played in constructed, but if it does, I think the fact that it lasts for the phase is the important tidbit there. So like I was like, if they make cards that let you ready units, like or well, we've seen one kind of
They
in
do.
Grand Inquisitor. If you can attack with a unit 2 or more times, these kind of effects, all of a sudden have value, increased value over
Right.
something like
Yeah.
Surprise Strike. So, like, yeah, if there is a one turn kill Grand Inquisitor deck that's like maybe there's more than one card like this, like, oh, I got this weenie that, well, it doesn't work with him though because he has a cap on power. That's the
No,
problem.
you just kill Madi to ready anything.
There, yeah, you
Yeah.
kill Madi to ready it, but like, yeah, like something like that where I can attack with it multiple times is the only thing I could see.
Like I think there is a use for it. I just don't really know what it is yet.
Just don't know what it is. Moving on. This was from the IGN article. I don't know if they were supposed to spoil this because they took it off the article within like
Really?
an hour after they put it, which was kind of a funny thing. We don't know why.
I mean, it's already out there.
So was this not on like the main article, but just on the extra images? Is that how this one showed up?
Yeah, it wasn't
Okay.
mentioned in the text, but like when you scroll through like the image gallery, both Han Solo and IG-88 leaders were there, and then like an hour after they posted the article, they were gone.
I wonder if they were given like the 3 spoilers and they were told just release these, or like maybe their plan was releasing with 3 different articles and they just kind of boned themselves.
Yeah, I don't know. They had a bunch of different cards from the set in there, so I don't know if like FFG was like, "Oh, just give them all these cards; they'll be spoiled by then." And then like some other CC is like, "I got these to spoil," and IGN totally just sniped my spoiler card.
I would feel bad.
Which would be like worst case scenario.
But
But
we
yeah,
would have heard about that already, but maybe not.
yeah, who knows? But speaking of IG-88, he is our villain aggression leader. One of them. Have we seen the other? Yeah, the other one's Grand Inquisitor, and then Vader's from the start.
Vader, so that
yeah, the two that we've seen all of the red / aggression villain leaders. So he is an underworld droid bounty hunter that on his leader side, he has the action to exhaust him to attack with a unit. If you control more units than the defending player, the attacker gets +1/+0 for this attack. So he's like paying off swarming, like you need more units than the defender, and then he has a 5 resource epic action for the threshold, and then on the backside he's a pretty solidish 5/4. I don't think that's super impressive, but he does give each other friendly unit raid 1. So again, just playing into that like a swarm strategy. Tack, what are your thoughts on IG-88?
I mean, his base ability feels pretty darn weak. Like, it just really does. I mean, just one only conditionally for one single attack doesn't feel like a lot. I mean, early game, if you're ahead, it could probably keep you ahead. Like, 1 extra damage can be what you need to trade into something and then stay ahead on units. So, like, it's not that it can't work, but it's pretty underwhelming. I do like that his deployed version affects everybody else. So, like, yeah, you're trying to build wide so that his regular ability is relevant, but, like, the payoff is, like, if you keep him alive and everybody else is just gonna hit a little bit harder. I mean, even if it's 1, I mean, that's still, that could, if you got, like, 5 dudes on board, that's 5 extra damage. I mean, that's not bad. But I don't know how, like, actually good he's gonna be. He seems completely fine.
Does raid stack?
Raid does stack.
Yeah.
So any of the keywords that have like a number like raid X or what are the other ones? I don't remember off the top of my head.
Isn't Raid the only one?
Restore.
Oh, Restore, yeah.
Yeah, restore the other one. And I was like, I knew it's the other R1. Yeah, if you have 2 instances of it, it does stack. So like your raid units can get really big.
I mean, if we get other IG units that do also give things raid, that's.
I mean, this what also we haven't seen, and maybe we'll see it too. Is like there could be aggression buffs that are like all your units get +1 raid. You know, like I could see there being an event that's just for this phase. Units get raid, units get +1/+1 or something like that. Just like stuff that tries to play into red villain swarm to just try to boost a lot of things. I could see it, but I mean, obviously we haven't seen a ton of cards that really play into that yet.
Yeah, he's kind of the villain mirror of maybe like Leia, where she wants to swarm like rebel units. He's like he wants to swarm on the villain side. I
don't think he's as good as Leia, but
yeah, like we have a lot of rebels, so that seems easier to do. The whole needing to have more units than your opponent, I feel is where it gets a little unreliable.
Stormtroopers are cheap.
It's true. We need more than just like one that will cost 1. We need a lot.
We also have like no synergy with those tribes, right? Like what were they? Bounty hunter.
He's underworld bounty hunter.
Droid.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's more tribal synergy for other stuff other than Rebel and Imperial in the first set, but we haven't seen any of it.
Yeah, we haven't. We know the second set is probably going to be Underworld related from the Shadows of the Galaxy title.
Shades of Shadows of the Galaxy.
Yeah, so maybe he has future payoff, but
and I feel like that's fine if like these are leaders that like it's fine if a leader's not perfect in the first set, but then can be okay for constructed.
Yeah, I like
when they add more support for it later.
He is a common leader, so like he's also going to be the draft limited like
villain. Exactly.
Where Grand Inquisitor is going to be the rare option that you're probably not going to see very often. So I think in limited, it's probably, I don't know, actually, I would say in limited, it's maybe harder to pull off the more units, but like if you know you're going to play them, you could try to draft a lower curve and then maybe it'll pay off.
I mean, TIE fighters only cost 1. Like there's options.
Got it. Yeah, there's a whole 150 cards to go too. Yeah. So like Tack was saying, like if they give
TIE Fighter is a starter only card, is it?
Sorry, what was that?
Is TIE Fighter a starter only card?
No, it's a common.
No.
Okay, just a common.
Like snowtroopers are only 2 each. Like there's options.
Moving on to the rare leader that we saw today, the big bad man Han Solo. We've seen the Han Solo unit a while ago, who is a rare that's in the Luke starter, which is kind of interesting. But this is the Han Solo leader version. He's rare, he's yellow, cunning, he's heroism. He is notably Underworld and not Rebels, which feels kind of important in this set. And then his action on his leader side is you can put a card from your hand into play as a resource and ready it. And then at the start of the next action phase, defeat a resource you control. Which seems very difficult, but it's ramp. And then, on his flip side, he needs 6 resources to flip. Then on his leader side, he's a 4/6. On attack, you get to put the top card of your deck into play as a resources ready. So it's kind of the same effect, just not from your hand. And then at the start of the next action phase, defeat the resource you control. Garrett, thoughts on Han Solo?
When I first saw Han, I was like, well, that's kind of fun. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, he's probably really good. Like, maybe not right now, depending on what options we have, but he will be, because there will be stuff that you can do out of discard. Like, he will be really good. I know he will. And on turn 5, when you can put him out, you can have 8 resources and drop something big, because you can do his action to get to 7, put him out, attack, get to 8, and then have something else. Home 1's 8, I think, right? Like, you can drop something big on turn 5.
Yeah. You could technically flip him on round 4.
That's true.
Because of his own. Yeah, if you're at 5 resources, you do his front to go to 6. Yeah. Then you can flip him and attack and go to 7. So you could play a 7 drop on round 4, which the best 7-drop we have right now, Han Solo.
Yep, it's
or
pretty funny.
or Mace, with the card we'll talk about, I assume next.
Yes, Mace
it's pretty
down the
good
line.
too.
Why not both? Just run yellow red and try to drop Mace or Han. That seems good. Like, I don't know what the draw odds are of you to like hit
of
that combo.
Either of them, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's just I need a Han Solo or a Mace in my hand by round 4. And your opponent
With a mulligan,
yeah, or your opponent could still technically stop you. I think if they had something to like prevent Han from attacking, an exhaust effect.
Yeah, like an Asteroid Sanctuary would be, or a Leia would be huge. The turn he comes out.
Yeah, that would be.
I think he's cool. I mean, his ability is. It's weird because it's basically like this is something that you're going to use 2 to 3 times a game, and it's probably going to feel game breaking every turn that you do. And you're doing it. I mean, if you're doing it early, it comes at the cost of card advantage. If you're doing it after he's out, it's just free. And that double turn, if you get that the round that he comes out, it just seems like there is a lot of opportunity for some big plays that can swing the game significantly. And that's cool. And that kind of like reminds me of like how like Boba feels like nuts when you get him on the field and the next turn you slam down the fire spray and it's ready and you just got threats on both sides of the arena and you're like, I'm already behind and it's not I'm playing Vader and I don't even have Vader out yet kind of thing. Like you're like, it's just one of those things that, like, you can just get so far ahead and unless they have specific answers to you, it's going to be hard to deal with. So it's cool that he doesn't have to have an ability that's always available, always like using every round like some of your other characters are. But those 2 to 3 times he's in the game could sure be very impactful.
And I think that's one of the things like a lot of the people have commented. They're like, how could you ever keep up the cards to like do this every turn? You need a lot of card draw. And I'm like, I agree. I don't think you have to do it every round. I don't think that's the point. I think you pick your spots that it'll be super impactful. Like play that 4 cost on round 2, play that 5 cost on round 3. That's like really good, or get into the double combo and then get him to his backside, where you're not having to actually spend the cards out of your hand for it. Like, I think it's going to be far more strategic, which that's probably why he's a rare leader and not a common, because he won't be easy to play.
I think Han is a very good example of having to learn when your leader needs to come out and why it's not necessarily beneficial to you just to slam it down as fast as you can. Because, and I think that's probably with most leaders, but especially with someone like Han, where when he's coming out, you have to do his ability when he comes out because there needs to be a reason to do it.
Yeah. And if you do it, you have to be able to spend all the resources.
Exactly.
Because I think if you flip him and you can't, like, you're
What's the point?
Screwing up. Like, yeah, it's like the same with Boba Fett is the same thing. Like, if you're playing Boba Fett, you got to like skew your resource costs down so that you can actually spend the extra resources that he gives you. Because if you're getting them and not spending them, there's no point. Han's kind of the flip side of that, except instead of just like getting a few small things, like he can combo into a big thing, but you got to be able to spend it. Let's see. Next card. So that was the 2 leaders, and then I'm saving the best for last. We're gonna go Fallen Lightsaber first.
What I this talk one, about.
Yeah, I don't think this one was actually in the article, but there was a trailer that they released. Star Wars Unlimited released on like their social media channels for the game, like because card games need trailers, obviously. And this was like just in like a card pan that came by. We kind of saw this, I think, in a Game Genic.
It was really
it's really blurry, but now we actually know what it does. So it's a 3 cost aggression villain upgrade, the Fallen Lightsaber. You attach it to a non-vehicle unit, like all the other lightsabers we've seen. And then if attached unit is a force trait unit, that's looking at the trait, it gains on attack, deal 1 damage to each ground unit the defending player controls. And then it gives a +3 power, +3 HP, and has all the lightsaber things. Tack, you want to talk about Fallen Lightsaber? What do you think of this?
Yeah, I want to put 3 of these on Vader and win the game.
How does a character...
How does that work?
Yeah, how does he use 3 double-bladed lightsabers?
Have you seen One Piece?
I was about to say that. Yes.
One in each hand and one in the mouth.
I mean, Destiny did the same thing.
Does Vader fit it in his mouth? I don't know. Like, he's got a mouthpiece. Like, I don't know. That's true. Vader would have a tough time. Maybe between the legs.
Vader has some sort of metallic extension somewhere.
He can just levitate it. He can just levitate it.
Oh, that's true. I feel like one of the guys in one of the Jedi games used the Force to do a lot of stuff with lightsabers. I don't remember who.
Oh, that was one of the guys in the second Jedi Survivor.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
There was one of the guys would attack you with the Force with his lightsaber. But yeah, no, I really like this card. I almost feel like this is better than the Luke and Vader sabers. Which, I mean, those are cards.
I mean, it costs 1 more, but it gives you that 2 extra health. And that effect is ongoing versus that one-time thing, and it only works with those characters. Like, I mean, it really depends how many more dark side Force users we get in the set as well.
Yeah, I don't think you have to put this on a Force unit. Like, that's
true.
Fine if you do. Like, I am fine putting this on IG-88 after I flip him and making him an 8/7.
Yeah.
I mean, it's entrenched +1 to get the full effect of to not have the downside of entrenched.
Yeah,
I would put this out of aspect too. Honestly, like I think it's
in hero.
In hero, or just like a non-aggression deck, like non-aggression villain. I'm not paying 7 for that, but like I would pay 5 for that. It's good.
Yeah, and I think you're probably wanting to put it on a leader most of the time. Like, leaders have, like, that's kind of the thing with upgrades, and this is how it is with like any game that has attached things. It's like, well, you Voltron your character, and then they get waylaid or vanquished, and you lose like all the cards. Feels real bad, but like in this game, your leader's kind of protected. So like putting upgrades on your leader seems like the best thing to do all the time. I've had a lot of fun with the starter decks. Like, if I play wing leader, like in one of them, I want to give those 2 experience to my leader. Like, obviously, I'm giving like Luke or Vader's lightsabers going to my leader. It's like,
or R2 on round 2, obviously,
or R2 on round. Yeah, that's here. That's also a good play. But like, yeah, it feels like it always pays dividends, or you're protecting your stuff more to put it on a leader. So, like any villain deck, like if you're going, I don't care if you're playing Boba Fett in like red, yellow, you're putting 3 of these in there, and you're flipping Boba Fett and smacking this on him, and being like, he's just a monster for you to get rid of now.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, I want the effect, but if I don't have it, a +3/+3 for 3 is still really good.
Yeah, makes your leaders hard to remove. Because, yeah, like, Vanquish can't hit him. Waylay can't hit him. Takedown can hit him, but it's anti-takedown to put Fallen Lightsaber on your leader. Like,
yeah,
it's the best payoff.
I know one more comment about that is when I was playing with late night people on Saturday, I was asking, like, do we expect to see some upgrade hate, and what did people think about it? And people were like, I think the general response of like, it'll probably be there, but like, I don't want to pay like much, if anything, for it. And I don't know, we start seeing stuff like that card and the lightsaber, like stuff like that. We get any more upgrades like that, just look super powerful and are things you're going to want to put on stuff. I feel like people will play upgrade hate if there's a chance that you start stacking on it. We haven't seen any cards that do that yet. I have to imagine they will exist.
Yeah. I think we for sure will have it.
I think we will, but like upgrade hate is probably less useful when damage sticks around too, because like it's not like Magic where health resets every turn. Like, damage sticks around, so you have that upgrade, but I'm gonna hit you.
Well, upgrade hate can kill something outright.
Right. But like the pace at which units die, I think, makes it less effective, if that makes sense. Like, because you're just
right, but you're saying because like things die faster than in Magic, where you can sit like, unless you're casting something to deal direct damage,
right? Like in Magic,
you can sit on something and never block with it, and it's just gonna.
I've got a 20 HP thing that you get all your health back at every turn. What are you gonna do if you can't just directly kill it?
Right,
makes sense. All right, last but certainly not least, the party crasher himself, Mace Windu. He is a ground unit that's aggression, heroism, 7 cost. He's a 5/7 Force Jedi Republic. He has ambush, which is great, and when this unit attacks and defeats a unit, ready him. So he can just kill every damn thing on your opponent's side. Notably, he is not from the era that this set theme is, which a lot of people have pointed out, which is pretty cool. Like, I was hoping they wouldn't just stick to OT stuff, and you gotta give some like breadcrumbs, like some trails to like future sets. You know, Republic probably won't matter now. It'll probably matter in Clone Wars set, you know, a couple sets down the line. But even without that, he is a badass.
He's a party crasher.
He's a party crasher. Garrett,
he's the Kool-Aid man.
What's your analysis on the Mace Windu?
I love Mace. Like that one, A+ for the subtitle of Party Crasher first and foremost. But like just going back to what I was saying before about playing Fallen Lightsaber out of Aspect, this is why I would play Fallen Lightsaber out of Aspect. Like you make Mace an 8/10 who gets to attack like 3 times. You're gonna wipe their board. Like, what are they gonna do about it?
Yeah, he has a force unit, so you get the damage. Like, yeah,
it's nuts.
You play that, and you're like, party's over.
Yeah, that's what you do.
So if you did have like a Fallen Lightsaber on him, say, out of Aspect, and you attack base, and the Fallen Lightsaber kills something, does that count to ready him, or does that specifically mean that he'd have to attack it?
That is a very good question.
I mean,
we'll figure it out.
The way I read it is that he would have to attack it because it's the lightsaber.
That's kind of what I would think, but I didn't know, like,
I don't know.
I think like when it says when this unit attacks and defeats a unit, I think it's implying that he has to attack a unit and defeat said unit.
That's a good question. So, I didn't think about that until just now.
Something you were attacking.
Yeah, the wording is like I might try to go find confirmation of it because the wording is just vague enough to I can see the interpretation the other way because like he attacks. And because of said attack, he defeated a unit with the Fallen Lightsaber trigger. Do I get to ready?
You like kill one unit with 1 health. Oh, ready. Attack base again. Kill another unit with 1 health. Ready. Kill again.
Yeah.
I mean, they would all die. Like, I guess you'd have to have a unit with 1 health and one with 2 health. And one
at that point, you're sacrificing your dudes into him so he doesn't reset anymore.
And then the party's over.
There you go.
And then the party's over.
And then the party is definitely over.
I think Mace is cool. I don't know if he's better than Han at the same cost. Han has 1 more attack, and the first strike is kind of huge, and they both have ambush. Like, Mace is more aggressive, and then he can hit base the same turn that he comes out in most instances, I imagine. But I don't know. I don't know if like you care if you're playing a 7-drop in your deck. Like if a 7-drop screams not really something aggro wants, he's not bad. Like if you put him in a red Han leader Han deck, and you know you're either getting either or, like at this point those are your big threats, and you're fine with either of them. I think that's cool. I think that's fine. But like, I do not know if he's actually better than Han in a lot of instances.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, he's more anti-swarm than Han, but like,
yeah,
I have a hard time imagining the situation where you're like to round 6 and like your opponent has a lot of things for you to like ready an attack with Mace, but you haven't just like lost to their swarm on the board. Like, I don't know what that board state actually looks like. Where you're like, this feels great.
I think he'll also matter by being Force and Jedi, since I mean obviously with the Fallen Lightsaber, the Force bump there. I think we're gonna have more stuff. Maybe even Mace's lightsaber. Who knows when that's coming? I doubt it's.
We've had It Binds. What's it? The It Binds all things card is like if you have a Force unit, is like the one Force unit thing we've seen.
Yeah,
like he could go right in a Luke deck. I just don't think there's been much reason to run Luke with the red right now based on the card pool.
Yeah, he is more interesting with shields. To like each damage as he's running, you know, rough shot.
It's like, ooh, run him in, hit something, attack with Luke, assuming you survive the previous turn, shield Mace up so that there's options there. It's just
though I think the one thing with Han that I think gives him the edge over Han is I think you're just fine ambushing a single unit, readying him, and then going to their base all in the same turn. Like that's probably fine, really. It's the energy conversion lab plus fire spray thing that people have talked about. Oh, I get ambushed,
Yeah.
end up ready, and then I can go into their base. Mace does it just all on his own, assuming he can defeat a unit when you play him, and then maybe you can flip the board. And that it's going back to like what we mentioned earlier. Like we talked about Vader, and now we got Mace, and it's like these are cards in aggression that aren't aggro cards. Like you don't play Vader or Mace in an aggro deck, but like he's a decent mid-range card that could like start to flip the board position by just killing something on your opponent's side and then putting damage into their base. Seems fine.
Or killing two things and putting damage in the base.
I mean, big bombs like that would also be, I imagine he'll be pretty great in draft. Obviously he's a legendary, so you're not going to see him like ever, but like that's a kind of bomb that I feel like you'd want.
Yeah, I feel like you would take that in a draft. You take Han too, I think, for that matter.
Han's not legendary though, right?
No, he's only a rare.
But like, if you put Mace down and you're across from R2 and 3PO, like he's just taking both of them out and then hitting base. Like, it's
just kill all the droids.
Yeah, he hates droids.
I mean, Mace hates droids. You got the point there. Like the card art, he's just killing the shit out of droids. One more thing that I forgot to mention that we talked about on the Discord. Mace's lightsaber, it's upside down in the art, and the blade is coming out the wrong end. Which people have pointed out already. They're like, go look at Mace in like any of the movie stills. Like the black part down here is like this is the bottom. And then the rounded part that's where the blade comes out. So
that's pretty great.
Womp womp.
I missed that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even noticed that if you didn't just tell me.
I honestly didn't notice myself, but like there's always some nerd out there, and it was like on the comment of the IGN article itself, someone like put as like the first thing, Mace's lightsaber's upside down. It's like nothing will escape the internet. Like it will be found. There's some nerd that like knows right off the top of his head which way Mace's lightsaber is supposed to be.
In the Clone Wars animated show in episode 7B.
That's
like it's secretly a double-bladed saber, and this is the first time we're seeing him light the other side.
I know. We never knew it's canon. I don't know. It's like weird stuff. Like people point out, like if you watch Return of the Sith or Revenge of the Sith, sorry, and you look at the fight with like Palpatine at the end, like part of it, Palpatine has Anakin's lightsaber in his hand, and it's just red bladed. Like if you look real close, it's not Palp's lightsaber.
Weird editing error.
Yeah, just weird editing error. That's just what happened. It's weird editing error. They put the blade on the wrong side. Anywho, that's all that we really had to talk about today, which was honestly a lot more than we thought.
Yeah.
So a lot of
done it tomorrow or yesterday before there were so many spoilers and release date.
Your sickness was just worked in our favor for us to postpone it a day.
My voice is significantly better today, and it still sounds terrible. So
we'll fix it in post. That's fine.
Fix it in post.
Just give me robot voice. Give me battle droid voice.
Yeah, that'd be annoying. So yeah, anybody have anything coming up this week? Like, I wish we could have plugged that you were going on late night last week. I don't think we did. I hope to like stream some TTS games or something to like our YouTube channel. I haven't got I'm all set up to do it. I just got to find time and find someone to play games with. So
I'll play with you.
Yeah, I'll play.
So maybe this weekend that'll be a thing.
We know Sean and Wyatt won't.
Yeah, no, they're still they're hating on the game so much they're not even here for the second episode. So they're playing their role well. We have to figure out a way to win them back to the podcast already. All right, well, that's all I got. So thanks everybody for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good one.